All right, it's your boy Taste of Fame. I'm honored. Got my boy here, big homie CC, fresh from Chicago. Was a celebrity bodyguard, entrepreneur, influencer. To me, one of the most multi-dimensional fellas from the Windy City. What's up, my brother?
Thank you, brother. Man, peace to you, God. We finally made it happen.
Man, I do want to say this, man. Brother solid right here, man. We've been supposed to had this going for months.
About 8 months.
Yeah, and bro was solid, man. So everybody from Chicago, from the Chi, starting with Butter, first dude I met, all the brothers I know here in Texas from the Chi, everybody been solid.
For sure.
All my brothers from Chi, shout out to you, man.
For sure, man. Shout out to you, man.
Yeah, straight up.
We working. What you got for me, man? I know you got some heat over there.
Say, man, I got a little bit of heat, but I want you to kind of dig into abductions, how you're contacted, what countries have the most abductions, how you're able to rescue the women and the kids.
Like when you say abductions, you mean like human on human abductions, or extra dimensional or extraterrestrial abductions?
Let's touch on both.
Well, we'll start human on human first. Here in America, FBI reports that they have over 450 suspects to be serial killers.
Wow.
And the majority of those suspects are over-the-road truck drivers. Now, when it comes down to this whole abduction thing, the reason I took an interest in doing retrievals and finding missing people is because if you're targeting people who don't have close family and people who are living an alternate lifestyle, no one's really looking for them. But oftentimes, certain family members will reach out and they'll have their money. Sometimes they don't.
Hold on. I'm picking up that the sound.
That's. I'm gonna text them. That's folks' phone.
The last thing you said, sometimes they have the money, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. All right. Just text them. Yo, Jug.
Appreciate
You said, what was your question?
Well, you were saying.
Oh, yeah. Because, I'll probably lose about 100,000 plus a year doing retrievals. So when people do have their money, it helps. But if they come to me and we do the threat assessment and the certain observables are there and we look into it and I'm able to get some leads, I'll just take it. Because, I got people who support. Shout out Iman Shumpert. Shout out Ron Jackson. Shout out Shaquille O'Neal. You feel me? These are all pro hoopers, and they know what I do. So, it's something to help me float. You feel me? And all black men. You feel me? They try to paint a narrative like we aren't proactive in our communities and things like that, but that's far from the truth. So, have you ever heard about the theory that Garth Brooks is a serial killer?
I haven't. Touch on that.
Well, that's significant evidence that Garth Brooks could be a serial killer. Because places he shows up on his tour, ladies show up missing, and it goes hand in hand with his tour routes. Now, when it comes to the whole abduction thing, most abductions take place in America in the national parks. And if you're familiar with President Dwight D. Eisenhower, it's been alleged that his cabinet made agreements with certain extraterrestrial groups to do abductions. And they're only supposed to abduct people in the national parks. When you file Freedom of Information Act for the missing persons list in national parks, you won't get it.
Wow.
And they'll tell you got to pay $2 million to get it. I think that's suspicious.
So you're saying the president that's on the dime, he started that?
That's a fact. Well, you've seen what his daughter said, what he told her on his deathbed. Look that up.
Look that up, huh?
Look that up.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find that. Okay. Yeah, I looked that up. Yeah, that's interesting right there. So state parks is where most people are abducted.
100%.
Okay, what's the second most place where people are abducted, and why are you so adamant about saving women and children? What started that for you?
Well, I have a mother, I have aunts, I have sisters, I have all my little cousins, it's pretty much girls. And, due to my prominence and stature in my community, ladies would come to me about things that would take place locally. And I always felt that who are we as a people if we don't police ourselves? Because we see our people getting murdered by police officers of different races because they don't live amongst us. They don't understand our culture. And oftentimes they're operating in a state of fear. So that leads to crisis. And for me, I was always a person who took security serious. I grew up having bodyguards due to who my father was and what he did. And I'm always up for a good crusade, I should say. And there's no better feeling than when you accomplish something and you see the emotions that people have when their loved ones are back with them. When you see somebody who's given up hope, who has accepted their fate, and you bring them home. There's no greater feeling than that, I'll tell you that.
I can imagine. I myself, have dedicated over 20 years to the youth. So I commend you, my brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I mentor kids every year. I send 100 kids to school every year. And you know how that feeling is, you feel me? Because I always say I had to be there because no one was there. Imagine if you weren't there in such situations. Where would those kids end up?